Hey there, my name is Mary. I'm a 24-year-old woman that recently got married to the love of my life, Asher. Get ready for an absolutely crazy revenge story from my wedding day. This tale revolves around my mother-in-law, Mildred, who tried to turn my special day into a chaotic nightmare. Let's begin with how Asher and I met. We met at a college event where Asher was performing a song with his band. I heard him sing and I was immediately drawn to him. I managed to get a hold of him. From our first conversation itself, we knew we wanted to go out. We started hanging out more and getting to know each other. Before we knew it, 3 years had passed and we decided to get married. Now, one thing you should know is that while Asher and I have enjoyed a blissful relationship, Asher's mother, Mildred, absolutely hated me. From the moment I entered her son's life, Mildred treated me with disdain. She was an overbearing and controlling force. She was determined to assert her dominance and make my life a living hell. For example, I had once invited both Asher and I's family to our then new apartment for a celebration dinner. I cooked all the meals while Asher cleaned and decorated the house. While everyone else enjoyed it and congratulated us, Mildred took it upon herself to constantly make snide remarks about me. She complained about the food, the clothes I was wearing, and the cleanliness of the apartment. Anything she could complain about, she did. Nobody said anything and chose to ignore her instead. Every once in a while, Asher's dad, Matt, would ask her to stop. I chose to ignore her too. Eventually, Asher snapped at her.
Honestly, this has not been that good of a dinner. If it were up to me, I would have done so much more for Asher. I mean, it's his first apartment. It definitely should deserve a better and bigger celebration.
Enough, Mom!
Asher, but no more buts. You've been nothing but rude today. Mary worked hard on today's dinner, and I think she deserves some appreciation at the very least. Oh, but darling, I was just saying that. Please stop talking. I would like you to apologize to Mary for your rude behavior. Fine, whatever, sorry.
It's okay, I guess.
And if you must know, Mum, this apartment is in both of our names. Mary didn't work on this dinner alone. I cleaned and decorated this house, so thank you for letting me know how I did my job. Oh no, I'm so sorry, darling. I didn't save it, Mum.
I guess that incident was an eye-opener for my mother-in-law, because after that she stopped insulting me as much as she used to. She would instead just remain silent every time I was around. Honestly, I loved it. Every time she insulted me, I would try to brush it off, but it actually hurt. Plus, it took every ounce of self-control to not retort and say something meaner back to her. Her silence provided me with much-needed peace of mind. After Asher proposed to me, which, by the way, was the perfect proposal by the beach, Mildred's resentment towards me only got larger. While she remained silent around me, her aggression toward me came out in her actions. Mildred would deliberately do things to physically hurt me. One time she accidentally dropped scalding hot tea onto my lap, and another time she accidentally pushed me down the stairs when I was wearing heels. I didn't do anything because I didn't want to start anything more with Mildred. To try and make amends and possibly have a better relationship, I decided to give her one last chance. I let her help with certain parts of the wedding planning. One of the things I was most excited about was choosing my wedding gown. Of course, my bridesmaids were all invited, and I also invited Mildred. While everything went relatively smoothly at the start, Mildred began getting agitated when no attention was being paid to her. She began causing a ruckus at the store. She complained loudly about the lack of choices and the subpar service and critiqued all my choices. Whenever I tried on a dress, while all my bridesmaids hollered at me and rated my choices out of 10 while sitting in their chairs, Mildred would come over and begin pinching the fabric, pinching me in the process. She carried her own bunch of safety pins so she could see if the dress I liked needed altering. So she would constantly use the altering the dress as an excuse to poke me with the pins. She argued with the cashier when she found out the starting prices of the dresses and tried to haggle with her. Keep in mind, Asher and I had more than enough to buy the store's most expensive dress. Mildred knew this too. She just wanted all eyes on her, and boy, did she get it. Eventually, the manager of the store came to the floor and asked Mildred to leave. Mildred left, but not without screaming how the store was trash, and the whole event was a huge waste of her time. After that experience, I'd had it. I had been poked, prodded, and humiliated all on the same day. I confided in Asher after that experience. It was a disaster today, baby.
What happened, darling?
Well, in the shortest way possible, your mother humiliated me. It's only a miracle that she wasn't there the whole time.
Not there? Where'd she go?
She got escorted out, so you can imagine how she must have behaved to get thrown out.
Oh God, are you okay though?
Well, Mildred poked me with safety pins on multiple occasions, called all of my choices hideous, and tried to haggle with the store clerk when she heard the prices of the dresses.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, baby. What do you want to do about this? I'll be okay with anything you suggest.
Honestly, I don't want her help with the wedding. I know she's your mother, but she's a hazard to me. It'll be a miracle if I attend our wedding with a couple of scratches only.
Yes, of course, honey. This is as much your wedding as it is mine. If you're not okay with something, I can't force it on you. I'll text Mum and tell her. You go take a bath and relax now.
Thank you so much, darling. Asher and I decided to minimize contact with her to prevent any more injuries for me. I know you're thinking it, and yes, we did confront her about her behavior on several occasions. She only responded one of two ways. It was either nonchalance or loud sobbing while victimizing herself. Both of these were too hard to deal with, so we simply cut her off until the wedding. Being completely cut off from the wedding planning only made things worse. Mildred kept trying to start arguments with Asher and me over text, but my father-in-law Matt handled it. He was on our side and told us not to worry about Mildred and asked us to focus on the wedding. The relief I felt thanks to Matt allowed me to pour my heart and soul into planning my wedding. I had meticulously planned every aspect of my dream wedding. Everything from the venue to the colour of the table napkins was well thought out. I wanted our wedding to be a reflection of Asher and I and our relationship. I invited everyone important to us and even ensured a wide variety of foods to cater to everyone's needs. After months of intense planning, I had completely forgotten about Mildred. However, at my bachelorette party, my best friend and maid of honour, Amelia, brought her up in conversation. Do you think Mildred will do something at your wedding? Nonsense, I don't think she will. I'm not saying she will, but think about it. You and Asher excluded her from helping plan the wedding. True, but I still doubt that. That would draw way too much attention to her. Come on, Mary, you know Mildred loves having all the attention on her, and you know she'll want all the attention on your special day more than anything. I don't know. You can't seriously be struggling to grasp this possibility. She has never stopped trying to ruin your day and efforts. What makes you think she would want to ruin one of the biggest days of your life? Okay, fine. What do you propose I do? Since we aren't entirely sure Mildred will try something, let's just prepare for it. We'll come up with a plan and only execute it if Mildred does try to ruin your day. If she wants attention, we'll give it to her. We'll have everyone's eyes on her and watch her entire reputation unravel. Isn't that a bit too much? A bit too much? Is Mildred thinking she can ruin your day? Just follow my lead. Okay then, I'll leave this in your hands. Eventually, the day finally arrived. The day was frantic, but everything felt worth it as I walked down the aisle. I couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement and nervousness. Seeing Asher at the end of the aisle, tearing up while smiling wide, made me feel overjoyed. All I could think of was how I couldn't wait to spend the rest of my life with Asher. Everyone was either smiling big or crying, and the entire atmosphere seemed to be bursting with happiness. Everything felt right, and I felt like all my months of hard work finally paid off. However, my happiness would soon be short-lived, because little did I know that Mildred had different plans of her own. Mildred's real colours began to show as the ceremony began. She sat in the first row. She kept huffing and puffing, apparently angry at not being the centre of attention. If I'm being honest, even the most joyful person would tremble at her scowl. I wish it stopped there, but it did not. Mildred began openly muttering her disapproval as the officiant began to speak. She made sarcastic remarks about the decorations, the seating, the choice of vows, and in general the ceremony itself. Her passive-aggressive remarks ran throughout the hall. This very obviously made our guests uncomfortable. While some of them only gave her a couple of glares, some let out a couple of coughs to drown out her negativity. When the time came for Asher and me to exchange rings, Mildred scoffed audibly and rolled her eyes as if the whole affair was beneath her. Her blatant lack of support and enthusiasm for our union was on full display, ruining the sacredness of the moment. For the most part, Asher and I ignored it. On the ride to the reception hall, Asher and I talked about the whole ordeal.
Oh my God, what is wrong with her?
I know, right? I can't believe the nerve she has.
I'm going to have a good word with her. Don't hold me back.
Oh, believe me, I won't. You might have to hold me back.
Okay, you know what? We still have our plan. Let's go full throttle. Mum wants attention? Fine, we'll put the spotlight on her.
Yes, should I give Amelia the green signal?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone can put her in her place. I think it's time for her to see herself through everyone else's eyes.
Finally. I hope this will make things better for us. We deserve better than this.
Yes, my dear. If it doesn't work, we'll completely cut her off. We'll start fresh.
I can't wait. We reached the venue hall feeling better and more than ready to celebrate our marriage. As the reception started and guests started filling in, the music got louder and the drinks started flowing. Asher and I took to the dance floor for our first dance. We then called on our friends and family to join us on the dance floor and let loose. Laughter and joy rang through the hall. Asher and I were overjoyed. However, Mildred wasn't done yet. Oh no, she had more in store for us. Unbeknownst to Asher and I, she made it a point to complain about every little detail, from the flowers to the table seatings to whoever she was standing next to. She would walk up to random guests and voice her displeasure loudly. Realizing that no one was paying attention to her, Mildred decided to try and sabotage me. During the cake cutting ceremony, she tried to accidentally push me into our cake. Thankfully, Asher was there to save me and the cake. When that didn't work out, Mildred decided to accidentally trip and spill her drink on me. However, Mildred did trip and managed to spill her drink on herself. Not being able to sabotage me only made her angrier. Her pièce de résistance was holding up a blown-out candle to a smoke detector to cause an alarm. And an alarm it caused. Everyone was panicking, but Asher managed to get security to check. They gave us the green signal and told us to carry on. When tiredness began to set in, Asher and I decided it was time to sit down and make toast. Asher and I toasted our relationship, while many of our loved ones made several speeches too. Mildred decided to ignore everyone's heartfelt words and decided she did not receive enough attention. In a truly cringe-worthy moment, Mildred grabbed the microphone and began to ramble on about her achievements and how she had always been the guiding force in her son's life. The room fell silent, and a sense of embarrassment washed over the crowd as they exchanged awkward glances. The atmosphere of the room did not affect Mildred. She kept going on, without a care, happy that all eyes were finally on her. Asher and I exchanged uncomfortable glances with each other. When we'd heard enough of Mildred's speech, I looked at Amelia and nodded my head, signalling to put the plan in motion. I had enlisted the help of my most trusted friends. Together, we had come up with a plan to put Mildred in her place. I knew that her microaggressions towards me during the wedding planning would come to a head on the day of the wedding. So, Amelia and I shared our plans with the bridesmaids and best men. The plan began with all the bridesmaids, groomsmen, and waitstaff wearing pinned-on cameras. We wanted to make sure that every one of Mildred's actions and words were caught. As the reception started, we subtly goaded Mildred to talk. The bridesmaids and groomsmen engaged Mildred in seemingly innocent conversations. They acted so well that Mildred began spilling all her feelings to them. She kept talking smack about me and the wedding. She also eventually began talking about how she wished she could do something to stop the wedding. To add fuel to the fire, we strategically positioned our waitstaff who had been briefed on our plan. They ensured that Mildred received subpar service. From spilled drinks to incorrect orders, they continued to make her feel increasingly uncomfortable and frustrated. This only further prompted her to talk more smack about the wedding. She was also intentionally rude to the waitstaff, never holding back the opportunity to cuss at them. Fortunately, one of the waitstaff heard her plan to sabotage me by spilling her drink on me, so they accidentally tripped her, leading to her spilling her drink on herself. We caught all of this on our cameras. As the guests' tiredness was beginning to settle in, everyone that was wearing the cameras secretly took out their SD cards with the footage and handed them to our best man who worked with videography. He quickly compiled all the footage and handed our maid of honor, Amelia, the USB. So now, as soon as Mildred had all eyes on her, they were ready to execute our carefully crafted revenge plan. It was time to show Mildred that her action had consequences and she would pay for ruining my special day. The lights dimmed as the screen fell and a video got projected onto the screen. Lo and behold, it was Mildred talking smack about me during the wedding. The video was a compilation of her rude comments and behaviour. It caught her setting off the smoke alarm too. Everyone sat shell-shocked in their seats. No one could believe the levels that Mildred would go to ruin her own son's wedding. By the end of the video, Almost everyone was glaring daggers at Mildred. The few who weren't wore expressions of disgust at her. Mildred, on the other hand, was flabbergasted. Before she could say anything, my best friend and maid of honor, Amelia, grabbed the mic. With a glint of mischief in her eyes, she began recounting embarrassing stories about Mildred, much to the amusement of the crowd. She did it in a comedy stand-up, roast session manner. The room erupted in laughter at Mildred's expense, leaving Mildred humiliated and exposed. Mildred jumped up from her seat, face red with anger. She tried to yell out her response in retaliation, so Amelia further engaged her in front of the crowd. "None of that is true! Stop it right this second!" Look, if I asked anyone around this room to recount a bad experience they had, all of them would answer, "That one time I hang out with Mildred." Why are you being so mean? I'm being mean? Me? Mildred? If I'm being mean right now, you've been monstrous this whole time. Oh, wait, yeah, that checks out. I'm being mean. At least I'm not being you, so it's okay. It's not okay? Why is no one stopping her? Oh, honey, if everyone can tolerate you, what makes you think they won't tolerate me? I'm being an angel right now compared to you. Asher, say something! This woman is humiliating your mother! Humiliating you? No, she's just poking fun at you. It's all in good nature. Everyone seems to be enjoying this. Asher! Sorry, Mom, but anything to entertain guests, am I right? That's Mildred's motto right there. While she may not have said it, she's always demonstrated it through Mary. Guess it sucks when it comes back to bite you, huh, Mildred? That is the biggest lie I've ever heard! No. The biggest lie you ever heard is, "Nice to meet you." That's enough! I don't know why I expected any better from this wedding. You're a mean and disrespectful woman. No one has the gall to... Seeing Amelia destroying Mildred, I motioned to the DJ to turn up the volume. I made sure to signal the DJ in the middle of Mildred's point. This left Mildred even angrier. The best part of the whole ordeal was watching Mildred's face turn redder with every point thrown at her. As Mildred stood there, fuming and unheard, the crowd decided to get back onto the dance floor. Everyone, except for Mildred, joined in the joyous celebration, leaving her all alone. It was a moment of triumph, a taste of her own medicine. Years of being sidelined and mistreated by Mildred finally paid off. I could finally make Mildred see how she had been treating me. Unable to bear the humiliation and lack of attention, Mildred left. The rest of the night was a celebration of love and unity. We were free from Mildred's toxic presence. The reception was filled with laughter, joy, and a renewed sense of friendship and love. Our revenge had succeeded, reminding Mildred and everyone present that actions have consequences and to treat everyone with kindness.